Welcome back to my workshop. Now today's going to be a quick video on one of these, which is a hook and scraper set, which I've just picked up from Aldi's. Let's have a quick look. Right, so what have we got here? Now this is a hook and scraper set, which I've picked up from Aldi's. It's now March in 2024, and they've actually got these in store at the moment, and they were £6.99. And for that you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hooks, well 8 hooks and 1 scraper. Okay, and to have a look at what we get a large gasket scraper, bent hook, 90-degree hook, large full hook, large straight pick, mini 45-degree hook, mini bent hook, mini full hook, and a mini straight pick. Okay, so that's what you get in there. Now this is obviously designed really for the automotive industry. I do occasionally fix my cars now, but previously I was a mechanic, and I've always wanted a decent set of these. But these, I couldn't resist them. They look like an absolute bargain, and they don't look bad quality. Okay, so let's get these out of the box and have a look at them one at a time. Ooh, shiny. Right. Right, so this is what you get in the packet. The packet itself is all cardboard, so this can all be disposed of in a recycle bin. No plastic in there. You've got some large hooks, a scraper, and some smaller hooks. Let's have a look and see how big they are. Right, so these are the larger hooks. They're all about the same length. So let's have a quick measure. The actual overall length is about 10 inches. Okay, yeah, about 26 centimeters. Okay, and the actual shaft is about 150 mil. Okay, that's about the rough size of it. The handles are plastic, obviously, with rubber bits. Now normally when you get cheap tools, there's normally a few catchy bits that actually catch on your hand, but these feel quite good. Maybe a little rough on the end here. Yeah, I think you might have to just give them a quick rub over, because obviously if you're grabbing them like this for long periods of time, you could end up hurting your hands, but no, they feel quite good. Okay, right, so first off, let's have a look at the big ones. This is obviously the 90-degree hook. Okay, it's quite sharp. Okay, it looks fairly sturdy. How thick is this shaft? Right, just to give you an idea of how thick this shaft is, it's zeroed. Okay, just under 6 mil thick. Okay, I think they're probably all about the same. Yeah. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how thick they are. Yeah, so we've got this right angled hook here. Okay. Then we've got this right angled hook with a bit of a bend in it. Yeah. And then we've got a spiky one. That's not as sharp. It's still sharp enough. You don't want to be stabbing everybody with that. But yeah, it looks quite good. And then you've got a bigger hook here. Okay, all of these have got their own uses. Mainly, as I say, while fixing cars, removing trims, pulling out hoses and O-rings and that kind of thing. But they've got a whole range of uses in the workshop as well. Okay, obviously I do a lot of woodwork, so some of these will come in really handy if you want to poke into a small hole. And also you can use them as little scrapers as well. Okay, and they do feel really good actually. And obviously with this as well, you get a scraper. Okay, flat base here. You could probably sharpen that up quite well if you needed to. It's fairly blunt at the moment, but again, you don't always want it too sharp. It depends on what you're scraping off. This is the same length as the others. Okay, How big is that? Just to give you an idea. That is about 24mm wide, so about an inch wide. Thinnest part here, 2mm. Okay, and the shaft on this one is just under 8mm. Okay, just to give you an idea of how big they are. All right, we'll try and use these in a minute, but before we do that, let's have a look at the little ones. Right, so as well as the big ones, you also get these quite smaller ones. Now here's in comparison. Okay, they're quite a bit smaller. Overall length on these fellas is probably about 160mm. Okay, and the actual shaft is probably about 80mm. Okay, check again. The shaft on these is probably about 3.5mm. So quite a bit smaller than the others. And what do you get here? You get a right angled one. Then you get this funky shaped one here, which I can assure you are handy. I've used these ones before. Sometimes you don't want to get it square on, you want to get a funny angle. Now that might just be the funny angle you want. Okay, we've got another hook here. Not as big as the other ones obviously, but yeah, just as useful. These are not as sharp, I don't think. And then finally, a spike. Okay, we all need a spike. Okay, yeah, not bad. Right, let's just show you some of these things in action. Right, it's not always easy to find ways to demonstrate this sort of thing, but let's just do a couple of things. Right, I've quickly screwed a spring into this board here, just a normal screw, put a spring in it. And what I want to do is I want to stretch that spring out onto something, okay? First of all, let's use our little spike here, okay? We'll use this just the same as we use a normal bradawl, okay? Just to make a mark, so then we could actually stick a screw in. Okay, nothing new about that. Okay, that's that one. You can use that one, or obviously you could have used the bigger one, depends on what you want to put in. Now, if I wanted to get this spring onto there, okay, this is quite a stiff spring. There's a couple of ways I could do it. One way, okay, I could get myself a pair of pliers like this. Okay, and I could try and grab onto this and then stretch it onto the spring. Okay, but you run a risk of damaging the spring or slipping off and it all going ping. Okay, that's where you could use something like this little fella. Okay, this is that wonky bent one. Okay, you can just hook it in there. Okay, and then hook it round. Now there's no way I would have been able to do that without any tools. Okay, why you would want to do that, I don't know. Maybe you just wanted to make something to put some tools in. Okay, but it's just to show you the usefulness of these things. Now let's get it off again. Oh, let's try it again. I'll leave all this bit in so you can see how much I'm struggling. Okay, so there's no way I would have been able to do that with any tools. Right, that's that. Now obviously you'll come across this scenario if you're working on cars. There'll be a spring, like a brake spring or something you've got to stretch. It obviously won't be into a screw into a piece of wood, but you get the idea. Right, I've stuck a bit of tape on here. Let's have a look at this scraper. Okay, as I say, it's not the sharpest scraper in the world, but yeah, it feels good in the hand and it works. Yeah, you get the idea. Excellent. A scraper that scrapes. Now this is obviously designed really for getting gaskets off. So as I say, you may be able to sharpen this a bit more efficiently. Okay, Right, let's move on to something else. Again, automotive, or if you're in the workshop like me and you've got air compressors and anything that runs pneumatics or water, chances are sooner or later you're going to end up with something like this, okay? So a union or a joint or something with an O-ring on it, okay? Now to get these off, if you use a normal screwdriver, you run a high risk of actually damaging them. So what you do is you can use something like this one, for example, okay? And you literally just hook around it and pop it off, okay? Minimal damage to the O-ring, okay? Let's try this one. Now this hasn't been off of here for about 15 years. We'll use our wibbly wobbly one again. See if that works. Just get behind the O-ring and basically roll it off. Okay, that's solid. I think that needs changing. Okay, you get the idea. That's what they're for. And obviously the bigger ones, like this for example, they're just for the same sort of thing but on a bigger scale. Now these can be good for getting in to get hoses off of cars, or anything you want to, you know, sort of grab and get. Yeah, you don't need me to tell you what a hook is. Yeah, I like these actually. I'm sure once I'm using them, I'll be using them for everything. Okay, just been looking around the workshop for another thing I can use to demonstrate. Now here I've obviously got my laser. I pulled it at a jaunty angle here just to show you. Now if you look on the top here, there's a little connector. Now sometimes these are really difficult to get apart. So can we use our hooks to get one of these apart? So let's get a bit closer and see if we can do that. Alright, so we're in nice and close now. Let's try and get this connector off, okay? Now normally I would use a little screwdriver, but now I'm going to use my little hook if I can find it. Okay, for that I'm going to use this one. Okay, it looks massive compared to that, but if you want to get something like this off, okay, a little bit of gentle persuasion. Oh. Okay, you can also use it for pushing in tags like this one. Push, push, and then just, there you go. Okay, so these can be used for slightly smaller work as well. Better put that back, otherwise I'm going to wonder why it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, these have got loads of different uses. Right, so that's about it. That was just a very quick look at the hook and scraper set from Aldi's. As I say, they're in stock now. They're Workzone ones, so they're not too bad. And as I say, they were £6.99. Now for that, obviously you get all of these, the smaller ones and a scraper. Now, £6.99, do you think that's worth it? Well, put it this way, if you get one hose off of your car without breaking it using one of these, then that's already saved you the money. All right, I hope that was of some use to somebody. I will use these definitely in and around the workshop. It's difficult to show you examples without actually working on the car, but hopefully you found that interesting. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Let's get it in focus for you. Obviously a right angled one here. Okay. Out of focus.